Good morning. Welcome into Titan Game Day morning here on the A to Z Sports streaming network, live from my home, not in Jacksonville this morning. Didn't make the trip down, but we are still going to talk about three keys to success on this Sunday for the Tennessee Titans to be able to further their grip on the AFC South. We have keys to success. We have roster lineup changes already on this Sunday morning. The Titans sending out a PR email at about 7 a.m. to try and let us know that there would be a player, a starter, missing from today's game. We'll get to that over the course of the show. And we have MyBookie.ag best bets. We also have a bathrobe. We also have the pumpkin spice latte. We are ready to roll here on a Sunday morning live from the home office. Before we get to your commentary, before we begin to talk about this game that's very, very important for the Tennessee Titans to be able to further their grip on the South Division, you guys got to share this show around on Facebook Live, on Periscope, on YouTube, and Twitch TV, if you would be kind enough. If you view with us on Periscope, you know where to go. You retweet the show in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. Nate John has a bad feeling about this game this morning. Well, Nate, we can talk about it together, and we can talk about it with your friends. Maybe your friends have a bad feeling about it. You can share the show if you would be kind enough. Retweet the show, bottom right-hand corner of your screen. If you view with us on Facebook, you share now to public. That's in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. Did we lose the PSL luck last week, says Kernick? No, I think, listen, don't blame the PSL. I'm going to drink these PSLs whether you win or lose. My coffee has my choice of coffee has no impact on whether you are victorious or whether you fall flat on your face. I'll be honest with you. I'm going to drink the PSL no matter what the Tennessee Titans record is. Share now to public. It's in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, on Facebook. If you view with us on YouTube and Twitch, we welcome you in. Let your friends know that we're here. We're hanging out. We're talking shop. And now that you guys are here en masse, we can begin the show officially. Welcome into Titan Game Day morning here from my home. I'm your host, by the way, Buck Rising, and I'm proud, as always, to be presented to you by the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. I am not in Jacksonville, but you know who is? The official real estate agent of the Tennessee Titans. Gary Ashton, he road tripped down to Jacksonville. He'll be at the game today. He supports all of the local sports teams and your favorite local sports show, GaryAshton.com. If you need a new vehicle, if you need a pre-owned vehicle, if you need to do some Christmas shopping, there's no better place to do it than Two Rivers Ford. You can go to the dealership in Mount Juliet or online at tworiversford.com. And if you're if you are of the gambling persuasion and you want to feel a little extra pressure on today's Titans Jags game, you want to bet with our friends at MyBookie.ag. That is the place that you go to double your first deposit with that promo code MyTitans. MyBookie.ag is the place that you bet. Okay. So let's start with your three keys, or my three keys to success today for the Titans and the Jags. I want you guys to give me your biggest key to success today against Jacksonville, because this is a massively important game, no matter how many wins or Jacksonville has or doesn't have, given that they're 1-11 right now with that lone win coming against the Indianapolis Colts early on in the season in week 1. In fact, this is a very important game for the purposes of tiebreakers. And so what I mean by that is, because the Jags have that win over the Colts, this would allow you to further your lead in the AFC South if it were to come down to further tiebreakers between you and Indianapolis, if things started to get hairy as the end of the season approaches. If you get this win today, you further your lead over the AFC South, because it then gives you another tiebreaker over the Colts. So what I want from you guys here this morning is, I want your biggest Titans key to success today against the Jags. Alejandro says Henry is the key. Block Miles Jack also, says Lewis Chesney. Lane says at least make Glennon move around to the pocket, shut down Robinson, and score 30-plus points. Lots of offense, Christopher Slaughter says. And I agree with all of those things. There's a lot of different ways that you can attack this Jags defense. First and foremost, though, I think if we're talking about people who are and are not playing, and we'll talk a little bit about Kenny Vaccaro getting scratched this morning as well, because that is something that did indeed happen. Kenny Vaccaro will not play in Jacksonville. He was scratched this morning as of a as for an illness. That email was sent to us from the Titans PR today. Biggest key, outscore them, says Paul Ruddy. Yes, thank you for your analysis, Paul. You've been very helpful. What I will say to you is because starting center for the Jags, Brandon Linder, will be out, that is going to mean that you are going to be able to, in theory, get better pressure up the middle. Jeffrey Simmons is going to be a big key today. Pressure up the middle is what is going to make Mike Glennon uncomfortable. With a very immobile quarterback like Glennon, the best thing that you can do is get pressure in his face and then make him move side to side for guys like Harold Landry and Derek Roberson and Tuzar skipper, also Wyatt Ray, who was called up to the active roster today. So I'm not sure which rotation of the three or of the four that we'll see, but there will be about three guys that they use, as is their custom, to get that interior pressure, to get that pressure inside using Jeffrey Simmons against a Jags offensive line that's without their starting center. I think that's going to make a big difference. Bourbon Tommy wants to know if it's cold. No, it's very comfortable actually out here. I'm layered up. I got my Star Wars pajamas on. I got my bathrobe on because I'm not traveling, so I'm probably going to stay in this outfit all day until prime time when I have to put on pants. So I'm very comfortable out here in scenic, sunny Nashville, Tennessee. Vaccaro is ruled out, Tony, as we discussed earlier in the show. Create some pressure at times. Stop the run. Offense needs to run the ball. Derrick Henry, play action with our weapons. Byron Jones, fix the play call, run the ball. Arthur has to stop getting cute on obvious run situations. He tries screens and pass plays, then the drives ends up stalling. Listen, because what Brian is talking about there is that third and 1 pass to a backup center or guard, a backup offensive lineman, Aaron Brewer. Right? Aaron Brewer is the object of much scorn because Arthur Smith made a call on 3rd and 1 because they knew they were going to go for it on 4th and 1. Now, 9 times out of 10, Derrick Henry makes that 4th and 1 run. I'm not that mad at Art for calling that play when he did, because if he gets it, he looks like a genius. If he misses it, which they did, everybody bangs him for it. And so, like, I would rather your play caller be confident in all of his menu of plays than coach from a scared position, to coach from a comfortable position. If that makes any sense, and I know you guys aren't going to care because you want Derrick Henry to get the ball every time and run for 30 yards every time he gets a touch, but like, I'm not that mad at Arthur Smith for calling that play when he did. Although it is very easy to make the argument that the entire game changed on that possession, right? Must win game today for the sole reason I can't imagine losing 2 straight that we are supposed to win, especially versus the Jags, says Taylor. Well, listen, I felt confident about the Browns game. I didn't necessarily think that it was a shoo-in that you were going to beat the Browns. Remember, you're not much better than the Browns right now. And it's just kind of the reality of the situation. Like, you're very, very much on par with that team. Now, the Jags you're clearly a superior team. 1 win, 1-11 is without question, a lesser team, and you own the Jags, right? Derrick Henry owns the Jags. So this is a game that you should have in hand. But remember, the last time you went to Jacksonville, that was also a game you should have had in hand. And I believe you lost 20-8. Is that the last time that the Jags and the Titans played in Jacksonville? I think so. It was week 3 last year, if I remember correctly. I'll pull that last score up. 20-7, 20-7. So I'm giving you a point more than you deserved. Feed Jono, they will blitz, says Ryan Fields. I will give you my 3 keys to success here and now on Titan Game Day morning. You guys continue to give me yours right after I tell you about our friends who present this and who will be at the game today, the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage. If you see this man on your graphic in front of you, that's the official real estate agent of the Tennessee Titans. If you're in Jacksonville, Gary will be at the game in Jacksonville. He road tripped down with his 2 pups yesterday. He sent me a Snapchat from the RV. So the RV is rolling, and so is the Ashton Real Estate Group of RE/MAX Advantage, the official real estate agent of the Tennessee Titans. Your dream address without the stress, that's where we're sitting right now. This is my dream address without the stress that I got through the Ashton Real Estate Group. They will hook you up the way that they hook up your favorite sports teams and your favorite sports show. GaryAshton.com is how you begin your search. So I gave you my first one, right? Pressure up the middle. secondarily, as we analyze this game between the Titans and the Jags, it's essential that you score first, because who are you without today? You are without Kenny Vaccaro, your starting strong safety. You are without Breon Borders, your starting outside corner. Adoree Jackson was ruled out on Friday by Mike Vrabel, so you know that he will not participate. And you are going to see some combination of Chris Jackson, who is just fresh off the COVID list, or Ty Smith, who are your primary backup outside. Well, not your primary backup outside corners. That's Breon Borders, right? And Borders is out. So now you find yourself with your third and fourth option at outside corner, which is Chris Jackson or Ty Smith. It'll be between those two. And I would lean Ty Smith, but I'm not. I don't actually, I tell you what, I don't know how confident I am in that. And I haven't been able to find out who's going to make the start today so far. Perhaps that will come out later as we get inactives here in about an hour or in about 2 hours. But Ty Smith off of injured reserve or Chris Jackson off COVID, I don't know who gives you the better chance. My inclination would be Ty Smith in this particular game, but we will see. What's wrong with Vaccaro, says Nick Ewing. He was ruled out this morning at about 7 a.m. with an illness. He was listed as questionable yesterday when we were sent out a transaction email. Man, LaShawn Sims would be nice right now. LaShawn Sims looks terrible in Cincinnati, Ryan Fields. It's just a projection. Nate John says no Fulton. No, Nate Fulton, or excuse me, not Nate Fulton. Christian Fulton has yet to be activated from the designated to return process off injured reserve, which is why you've seen him at practice. He's been practicing for a couple weeks now. But Christian Fulton, as of this morning, has not been activated. Now, they could activate him today, but he will not play if today is the day that they activate him. They either needed to do it Friday or Saturday for Christian Fulton to be able to have a chance in that game. And honestly, I don't know how much that helps you if I'm being completely transparent, because Christian Fulton plays the slot and you have a starting slot corner in Desmond King. Is Darrington Evans back today, says Brian. Yeah, and I do think you'll see him in some capacity. I don't think he's going to unseat Jeremy McNichols as the third down back, but I think you may see him on special teams as he kind of gets warmed up into it. Remember, he didn't have the preseason, and they were looking to use him as a piece on special teams regardless. So my 3 keys for the Titans' success: pressure up the middle, score first, because your secondary is going to be extra banged up from the group that has been historically bad on third down, and you need to feed Corey Davis. Corey Davis, in a contract year, has been a monster. He is just under 200 yards away from his first career 1,000-yard season. There are some stats that I have in my book that the Titans PR sends us every week, my release book. It's no longer a packet. It's now a full-on book, and I'll read you some of these crazy stats from Corey Davis. Last week, he led the team and set career highs with 11 receptions, 182 receiving yards, plus the touchdown. His previous high, 9 catches, 161. He became the third player in franchise history and the first since Drew Bennett against the Kansas City Chiefs in 2004 to post at least 11 receptions, 180 receiving yards, and 1 touchdown. A.J. Brown is who's going to take the most attention off, or the most attention from the defense. What I will say to you is that A.J. Brown taking the attention of the defense is massive if you are talking about a situation where Corey Davis can absolutely dismantle you, right? As a number 2, this man is spectacular. As a number 1, it's much harder for him to have the impact on the game that he has. And I know that seems a bit obvious, but Corey Davis is your best asset when A.J. Brown is on the field, which is a weird thing to say, because if the defense is going to key on A.J. Brown, that's when you let Corey Davis eat. And that's what he's been so successful over the course of this season doing. You finally, for the first time in 20 plus years, have 2 great wide receivers. Allow them to work off of each other. A.J. Brown being wide receiver 1, but Corey Davis being wide receiver 1A. He's fantastic, and he will continue to be so, I think, moving forward. 3 Titans keys to success without starting center for the Jags. Brandon Linder in the lineup. Got to get pressure up the middle. Secondarily, you have to make sure that you score first in this game, given how banged up the secondary is. And third and finally, you absolutely have to make sure that Corey Davis gets the football today in Jacksonville. Let's move on to a player today that needs to step up the most against the Jags. If you guys will be so kind as to send me which Titans player needs to step up most today in Jacksonville, in Duval County, which I know you hate, but it's one of my favorite hashtags. I don't know why I just like the way that they say Duval. I don't know why. But perhaps that will make you dislike me here on a Sunday morning. Which Titans player needs to step up most against Jacksonville today? Juicebox 678 is going with Big Jeff. Marquis Hales says Evans, but I don't know which one you're talking about, Marquis. So let me know, Rashawn or Darrington, excuse me. Let's see. Jimmy Flem wants some of Byard, as does Deontay Rogers. Don Berta, who is in Jacksonville, wants to see Simmons up the middle. Summers, Alec on Periscope, Byard, any and all pass rushers, says Hey Bernstein, and that's going to be a big one. We'll spend some time on the pass rush here in just a second, right after I remind you about the place that you go if you are looking to shop for a new or pre-owned vehicle. John Barker's Two Rivers Ford here in Mount Juliet. Well, not here because I'm in downtown Nashville, but in Mount Juliet, in Middle Tennessee. They've been serving this community for almost 40 years, and they've been doing it so well, just as they've continued to support all of your favorite local sports teams so well. They continue to support the local community so well. TwoRiversFord.com is where you go if you want to take a look at the new 2021 Ford Bronco, and they are badass vehicles. I cannot recommend them highly enough. Go check them out. In fact, I'm going to go out to Mount Juliet I think sometime this week. Actually, I'm going to go out on Tuesday, and I'm going to see the new Ford Bronco. You can do so as well at the dealership or online at TwoRiversFord.com. Which player needs to step up the most this morning? Marquis says Rashawn. He clarifies. Will Dotson Jr. agrees with Marquis. He wants to see some Rashawn Evans, some razor blade. No Vaccaro, secondary, definitely needs to step up. That's from Justin Churchill on Facebook. And that is where Justin and I are going to agree. So what happened in Baltimore? When Kenny Vaccaro was ruled out the day before with concussion-like symptoms, right? I saw Amani Hooker step into that role, and he did get beat a couple times, right? He got beat by Mark Andrews for one of the touchdowns that the Ravens put on the Titans before the comeback began. And then what I saw Amani Hooker do is I saw Amani Hooker play smart football, get the one turnover that the Titans needed to help turn that game, send it to overtime, and then ultimately for Derrick Henry to win it. Amani Hooker's been playing good football this year. And I saw some people saying, well, it's no loss to miss Vaccaro and Amani Hooker's better than Byard. Neither of those things are so. But I do think that Amani Hooker as a backup safety is going to help you substantially. Now, who fills that third safety role with so many other missing pieces in the secondary, given that Breon Borders, remember, has been put on injured reserve? He will not be eligible to return until at least Houston, which is in week 17. Adoree Jackson, again, all 3 days at practice this week, but he will not be playing in this game. He's already been ruled out. And as we talked about, Kenny Vaccaro was ruled out this morning due to illness. As far as all of those things are concerned, I would say to you that Amani Hooker is the player for me that I need to see step up the most. I think that Amani Hooker needs to have a big impact today. Summers Alex says, just saw Wyatt post a super foggy pic from Jacksonville. Man, that's how it was last time we were down there. Because I did go under normal circumstances. I travel to every game, right? And so I did go to Jacksonville last year in week 3 for Thursday night football, and the fog was terrible that night too. It was a monsoon at some points, and then it would dry out, and then it wouldn't dry out. It would just get muggy in the fog in Jacksonville. You literally needed windshield wipers in the press box to be able to see. And also Kaharski, which was funny. I'm glad his laptop was okay, but the press box in Jacksonville is so disgusting. The whole city is I don't know. It feels like it's just constantly damp. Like the whole city just feels like you're constantly being rained on. And Kaharski, while we were sitting in the press box, I think our buddy Eric Bacharach too, formerly of the Tennessean, the press box was leaking onto their laptops while we were working on our post-game articles and reports and things of that nature. That was it was funny. It did not happen to me, so that made it even more funny. But that was a disaster of a game, not just for the Titans because they sucked. They looked terrible down there in Jacksonville. It's probably one of the 5 worst games I've seen them play last time. But this one is different, right? This is a different team. This is a Marcus Mariota-less team. But it is a team dealing with some flaws. I used to live in North Central Florida, says Juicebox. It sucks. And Jacksonville is dirty. Kevin Byard, not a star. He just fit in our system good, says DeZito. DeZito, I love you, but I don't think that's true. Harold Landry, please get us a sack, says James Bush. 2-tone zone, says stop James Robinson. Justin Churchill, Florida LSU game last night. LOL. I didn't watch it. I saw the final score though. Florida, just the whole state of Florida, just saw it off into the sea, honestly, except for Miami, because I love Miami very, very much. Let us put a bow on this morning show before I send you guys into the football day. And I want your MyBookie.ag best bets here on the Titan Game Day morning program. Let me know, what is your MyBookie.ag best bet right now? We have the Titans as 7.5 point favorites. The over-under currently set at 52. So it's Titans road favorites by 7.5. The over-under for this game, the final score or the final point total, set at 52 on MyBookie.ag. Let me know what your best bet out of those two would be, and I will give you mine momentarily right after I tell you where you need to go bet and where you need to double your first deposit up to $1,000. That's MyBookie.ag, and you use that promo code MyTitans to do so. Up to $1,000, they'll match you dollar for dollar. MyBookie.ag on your first deposit. Use that promo code MyTitans to do so. So the Titans as a 7.5 point road favorite. I don't know how I feel about it. Over 52, says Montreal Titan. Derrick Henry over 130 rushing yards. I didn't see the line on that from Justin Tomaselli, but that doesn't mean that MyBookie doesn't have it. I don't care what the over-under is taking. I'm taking the over all day. Is that because your secondary stinks and also the Jags stink? I think that's a reasonable approach for Tom Malinsky. Juicebox is going under 52. Lewis Chesney would bet under. Those are that totally changes your football watching experience. So I get it. Ronnie Sneed has the answer, and he says the Jags and the points. So if I don't bet I don't bet on Titans games because that would be compromising and that would be unprofessional, and I don't think it would be allowed. I think it's kind of illegal for me to bet on Titans games. But what I will say to you is that if I was to bet my money on this Titans Jags game, I would take the Jags by 7.5 plus 7.5. Are you kidding me? There is no way with this secondary. I mean, there is a way, right? There's always a way. And so let me not speak in such declaratives, but there is no way that this isn't a closer game than a touchdown and a half. Are you kidding me? No way on earth. This game's going to be closer than 7.5 points, but the Titans should win, says Ronnie Sneed. I agree with all of that. Life's too short to bet the under, says Jimmy Flem on Periscope. No, it's not, Buck. You can't influence the game, says Titans for life. Well, see, this is where I kind of get into this middle ground, Titans for life, because I'm not allowed to put money on fantasy football leagues, which I didn't know until I started playing in the Titans Media League, which is an interesting one. Justin Tomaselli says, why can Austin bet, but you can't? I'm just curious. Well, I'm like a team reporter, right? So Austin is a talk show host. I am a Tennessee Titans reporter, right? That's the difference between he and I. Now, I'm also a talk show host, but Austin's like not a day-to-day Titans person. That is my primary function, even though I talk college football sometimes with you guys on the primetime show. Like my job is Tennessee Titans reporter. So maybe it's not illegal, but it is certainly frowned upon. Buck is correct. Wouldn't be illegal, but Buck would be in professional trouble, Alan DM says. Yeah, that's basically what I was told. That's how this is. So, it doesn't mean that much to me, and much less. These games, my work days are stressful enough without actually having money that I'm trying to make at the games be put on the line with the Tennessee Titans. No, thank you. It's just not for me. Anyway, but I would bet the Jags plus 7.5 based on that Titans line of 7.5 road favorites here today And I think that would be a safe, maybe you're not down with the safe bet, but I think that's the safest bet out of everything that I saw on MyBookie.ag. Make sure you use that promo code MyTitans to double your first deposit. I hope you guys enjoy the football day. We'll be back to talk about it after the games are played. Titans game day morning has concluded, but the primetime show, we will begin our primetime week, of course. You're funny if you think that it's not going to be a close one, says Alex. That's what I'm saying. I think it's going to be a really close one because Buck Nasty knows and sees all, says DeZito. That's right. And today I will see from my couch. I'm not traveling today, which is unfortunate. I love to travel to games, but COVID doesn't really make it worth it most times. What I will say to you is I will be back tonight at 8 p.m. Central Time on primetime to talk about it. Austin and Zach, they will have live pre, halftime, and post-game coverage. So if you're in Nashville and you want to go to a safe and socially distanced bar to watch the game, you can do so with Austin and Zach at the Mainstay in East Nashville. I'll talk to you guys later. There's a lot of work to be done, but I'll tell you what, as of 8:56 this morning, I'm not tired yet. The show will roll on. There will be articles written, there will be podcasts produced, and there will be a primetime show done all today because I'm not tired yet. You guys are not tired because your day is just getting started, and I know you'll be ready to go when we bring it back home for primetime. Enjoy the football, enjoy the day, but I'm not tired yet. No!